Prime Minister Hailemariam says IGAD has scaled up commitment in maintaining peace in East Africa. Nigerian investors eye profits from Moringa herb. Those were the headlines on ETV. Hello and welcome. I am Rigbe Holmes. President Girma Walde-Giorgis on Wednesday received letters of credence of newly appointed ambassadors of the Netherlands, Finland, Sweden, USA, Slovakia and the European Union. On the occasion, the President said that the government will provide the necessary support toward the success of activities of the ambassadors during their stay in Ethiopia. President Girma also said Ethiopia will closely work with the ambassadors with a view to enhancing the existing relations with the respective countries. The ambassadors on their part said that Ethiopia's influence is getting strengthened in Africa. They said they will strive to further intensify the relation of their respective countries with Ethiopia. Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn said the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, has scaled up commitment towards maintaining peace in East Africa. Hailemariam, who is also current chair of the African Union, called on nations to step up efforts to meet the Millennium Development Goals during the remaining 2 years. On the sidelines of the UN General Assembly session, a high-level forum on the MDGs has been held in New York. Rahel Teklehannes reports from New York.
Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn addressed the AU Peace and Security Council meeting at the level of heads of state representing the AU and IGAD, appreciating the agreement reached between Sudan and South Sudan in Addis Ababa last year. The Prime Minister told the gathering that IGAD believes the two Sudans would reach on a final negotiation to bring lasting peace. IGAD believes creating peace between the government of Sudan and Sudan People's Liberation Movement North is the best alternative towards political settlement, and it appreciates President Omar Hassan al-Bashir's pronouncement to silence guns in Sudan. Hailemariam expresses IGAD's strong belief that the effort would allow smooth conduct of the general elections due to take place in 2015 there.
IGAD remains firmly committed to continue assisting both the Sudan and South Sudan in overcoming their differences on some of the remaining outstanding issues, as well as in implementing the series of agreements that they have previously signed. We will also continue to support the African Union High Implementation Panel in its unrelenting efforts to facilitate the negotiation between the two countries with the fundamental objective of establishing two viable states living side by side in peace and harmony.
AU and UN should further build upon their existing cooperation for maximum advantage, he said.
The need for further enhancement of the cooperation between the United Nations and the African Union and its sub-regional organizations ought not to be seen only from the funding point of view, no matter how much that aspect may be crucial and critical indeed. No less vital is the need for meaningful consultation and effective coordination between the two organizations.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister also attended high-level forum dubbed MDG's Success, Accelerating Action and Partnering for Impact. The Premier said countries in the continent, particularly Africans, that are off track on many of the MDGs need international partner support to achieve the goals. Best practices should also be scaled up to meet the goals in the remaining years, he said, adding Ethiopia's success in reducing maternal and under-5 mortality by 67% is exemplary. The Prime Minister underlined that issues such as impacts of climate change and its solutions, as well as ways of ensuring sustainable energy, should be included in the new Global Development Agenda, which will be formulated after the end of MDG's execution year. Rahel Teklehannes reporting for ERTN News, New York.
Foreign Minister Dr. Tedros Adhanom met and held talks with Professor Viola Onwulri acting Foreign Minister of Nigeria in New York. Professor Onwari said Nigeria has a keen interest to strengthen the relationship with Ethiopia. She expressed gratitude to Ethiopia's support for Nigeria's candidacy for a non-permanent member seat of the UN Security Council. Dr. Tedros welcomed the strong and cordial relations existing between Ethiopia and Nigeria. He took the opportunity to underline Ethiopia's readiness to cooperate closely with Nigeria to strengthen the voice of Africa on issues of common concern such as terrorism and climate change. Meanwhile, Dr. Tedros held a meeting with Foreign Minister of Lithuania, Linas Linkevičius. The Lithuanian minister said his country has a keen interest to bolster its relationship with Ethiopia. Lithuania and other non-traditional members. Dr. Tedros said Ethiopia would like to expand links with Lithuania and other non-traditional members of the European Union. He said Ethiopia supports Lithuania's candidature for the Security Council. Government Communication Affairs Office stressed the need for Ethiopia and China to work together on media development. Office head with the rank of Minister Redwan Hussein made the remark while holding talks with a high-level Chinese delegation led by Vice Chairperson of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, Qui Shuchuan, here on Wednesday. He said that China is a development partner of Ethiopia and stressed the need for building media enabling to reflect such partnership. Qui Shuchuan on the occasion lauded Ethiopia's political and economic system. The Vice Chairperson expressed China's readiness to build capacity of Ethiopian media institutions as contribution of the media is significant. Similarly, the delegation has held discussion with the Speaker of the House of Federation, Kasa Teklaberhan. You're watching the news on ETV. Coffee Plantation Development Enterprise said it has envisaged to earn 380 million birr in revenue from sale of coffee and other agricultural products during the current budget year. Enterprise Director General told Ethiopian News Agency that they are working to supply 60,000 quintals of coffee to local and international markets during the reported period. He said the enterprise exports coffee to 15 coffee processing companies in 8 countries, including Belgium, Germany, Italy, USA, France, Australia, the Netherlands and South Africa. The enterprise has managed to increase productivity per hectare to 11 quintals and the amount of coffee harvested per annum to over 48,000 on average. The Ethiopian Horticulture Development Agency said it has secured 264 million birr in revenue from export of horticultural products during the previous year. While discussing with North American Flower Distributors Delegation, Agency Director General Alem Weldegarima said of the total revenue obtained during the reported period, flour takes the lion's share by earning 212 million birr. He said the balance was secured from export of fruits, vegetables and herbs. The nation has exported the items to countries in Europe, Middle East, Asia and America. Ethiopian Airlines won the African Business of the Year Award. The African Business Award 2013 was held on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly meeting in New York. Ethiopian was recognized for its exemplary role as an African business model that is effectively harnessing opportunities and making profits while at the same time registering fast growth despite the tough economic times for the global aviation industry. Tolde Gebramariam, CEO of Ethiopian Airlines, said that as a truly Pan-African business organization, the airliner was happy to receive the award, which recognizes its contribution to the economic development of the continent. The African Business Awards is a platform which celebrates excellence in African business by recognizing individuals and companies that are driving Africa's rapidly transforming economy. Ethiopia's gold mining sector shows growth. Gold export rises to 24,000 kilograms and earnings shot up to $1.2 billion over the past 2 years. Baj Afaji from the Ministry of Mines told CCTV that prospects for gold mining are getting brighter. Survey estimated gold resources to be 500 tons. Production is expected to rise to 40 tons a year from just over 4 tons 2 years ago. And in the news from abroad, Kenya has begun 3 days of national mourning following the end of the 4-day siege by Islamist militants on Nairobi's Westgate shopping center. President Uhuru Kenyatta said 72 people had died, including 6 security personnel and 5 militants. 11 people have been arrested in connection with the attack. Al-Shabaab, which claimed responsibility for the attack, said 137 hostages had died, but the statement cannot be verified. Across Kenya, flags flew at half-mast as grieving friends and relatives continued to hold funerals for victims of the attack. Nigerian entrepreneurs make good profits from herb-based moringa tea and other moringa products. The superfood nutritional supplement contains more than 90 nutrients and 46 antioxidants. The tiny leaves of this plant can help restore internal imbalances through daily use. Habib Mohammed has more.
About 90 kilometers north of Nigeria's commercial capital Lagos, workers are busy of harvesting moringa leaves for processing at the Natural Nutrients Limited farm in Nigeria's Ogun State. The farm is one of many that recently started growing moringa trees in the country. Entrepreneurs are taking advantage to make good profit from cultivating and processing moringa plants for sale. Considered one of the most complete nutrient-rich plants on earth, moringa leaves are abundant in vitamins and minerals, including vitamin A, B1, B3, B1 to iron, magnesium, potassium, amino acid, and polyphenols. Shola Bunmi said he ventured into the business to fully exploit the multiple use of moringa plants and grow his business. He makes about $1,800 every month. His company employs about 25 workers and he is working on plans to expand further. Adeni Shola Bunmi, the chief executive of Natural Nutrients Limited, started his business 2 years ago and says his moringa products can hardly meet demand in the country. Herbal experts say there are certain species of the plant which range from tiny herbs to massive trees, but the most commonly cultivated one is the Moringa oleifera. According to Reuters, all the species have been found to have multiple medicinal value. Also known as the tree of life, there is no part of moringa plants that goes to waste. Everything from the pods, fruits, flowers, leaves, and the bark have medicinal value. Shola Bunmi manufactures powder, oil, hair cream, body cream, and tea bags from the plant. Ojude Kolaoli, a biotechnologist at the Yaba College of Technology in Lagos, has carried out over 5 studies on the moringa plants and says results have been encouraging. Kolaoli added that his latest findings could mark a possible breakthrough in the cure of diabetes.
We observe that most of our foods are carbohydrates, and these carbohydrates has caused a lot of negative effects on African people, and we try to use moringa, whether moringa has a little bit effect, and we're able to compare that the moringa plants, particularly the leaf extract has ability to reduce the hyperglycemic effect in diabetic rats.
Retailers have also set up shops in the city hoping to cash in on sales of moringa products that have become increasingly popular in the city. Benita Egbo, a Lagos resident, usually comes to this shop to buy her moringa supplies. She says she uses the product to stay healthy and prevent disease.
Sometimes ago I was sick, so I go to hospitals. I was treated malaria and typhoid, but it seems that the feverish still continues. So a friend of mine introduced moringa to me, so I use it, and since then, as I use moringa, I don't feel any malaria or typhoid again.
Apart from being the most nutritious plant on earth, studies indicate that moringa seeds can also be used in biodiesel production.